Welcome to the Reed House. Built in 1894 by William Reed, founder and director of the Illinois Trust and Savings Bank, this home is believed to be the first steel frame residence constructed. It's had only 5 owners and now owned by Oscar Tatosian of Oscar Iberian Rugs, who purchased and restored this beautiful home in 2001. Currently, the home is a protected landmark on the National Register of Historic Places. Hey guys, welcome to another video. And this time we are in the historic district of Prairie Avenue. And this is the original Millionaire's Row in Chicago. Before the Gold Coast, this is where the elite and the wealthy lived. So over the years, this area has seen a lot of transformation. So warehouses, parking lots, and factories took over a lot of these, replaced a lot of these beautiful mansions. And this is one of the only historic mansions that's still in the area, and it's actually the only property in this entire historic district that has been continuously used as a residence. So it's a very, very special home. I love the facade of this home, the cream colored brick and the terracotta and the limestone combination. It just makes it look so special. And of course, the wrought iron work here is really hard to miss. You'll notice it as you walk up to the home on the fence, as well as the railings as you walk up into the home. It looks really, really beautiful. Welcome to the Reed House. So the home was put on a National Register of Historic Landmarks in 2003 to ensure that it can never be demolished and to make sure that we protect this beautiful piece of architecture and real estate for years to come. So to kick off the tour, we are in this grand foyer, okay? Beautiful mahogany paneled walls, and you have this mosaic pattern on the floor that looks incredible. It looks exactly the way it did over 125 years ago. And this stuff is virtually indestructible, just the way they installed it and the workmanship of it. So to give you an idea of the layout of the home, on the main level, we have a sitting room, we have a music room, there's a library/cigar lounge, and a dining room and a kitchenette. On the second level, we have several bedrooms and an office. And on the top level, we have a grand ballroom. So let's start the tour in the front of the house. Large windows that face Prairie Avenue with this incredible millwork everywhere you look. The crown molding looks amazing. And then right this way, you have one of 9 fireplaces. And each one of the fireplaces has so much character. They're all different and they're all beautiful. And this one has a glossy mosaic pattern here. And right this way, you'll notice this, I'm not sure if it's wainscoting or if it's actually a baseboard that's really tall. I think it looks awesome because typically wainscoting is slightly higher. So really nice detail. And then right this way, you have the music room. So Mr. and Mrs. Reed loved to entertain. So they had a quartet here playing, they had guests here, listening to music, and whenever the show was over, the ladies would go to the front of the house to have some tea and catch up. And then the gentlemen would go into this library and, hang out and have a cigar. And of course, this part of the music room is really hard to miss. It's a massive dome. It's actually 16 pieces of stained glass. And right over it, at the top of the building, is a skylight. So there's always natural light coming in into the music room, which I think is really cool. And then here you have this massive fireplace. This is actually African marble, and it's the same kind of stone that's found in the Glasser House. I should say Glasser Museum down the street here on Prairie. And this thing is like 6 feet tall. I think it's pretty cool. And light fixtures in the home are incredible. So they're actually a combination of electric and gas light fixtures. And then right this way is the library. And before we look at the library, let's take a look at these pocket doors. Look at this. So everything is in such pristine condition. Look at it, nothing sags. Everything is in exactly the way it was when it was originally built. And every couple of years, they actually remove all these bolts and all the hardware. They polish it, and to make sure everything stays in pristine condition. The way the home was designed is every room of the house was to have natural light, whether it's coming through the skylight or through a window. So as we walk through the house, you'll notice that there's natural light in the home coming in from every direction. And then here we have a dining room. It's very intimate, it's very beautiful. You have this cool bar here with some stained glass, and the wood that's used on all the walls is actually birch. And then right this way again, some more stained glass. You have this little nook here that overlooks the yard. It looks really cool. And everything is original, guys. You have all the windows, all the millwork, all these beams, everything is original. Okay, we're now on the second level of the home, and on the second level we have a master bedroom with a large window overlooking the serene garden, and there's also a bathroom that is in pristine and original condition. And this way is the back of the house, and there actually used to be a wall here, and it separated kind of the help from the owners of the home. And right this way this is a dumbwaiter. So it was used to transport food in the house, and it actually goes all the way down to the basement where there was a large kitchen. Caviar and avocado toast, please. Coming right up. Okay, why don't we walk to the front of the room where we have an office. Large office, lots of natural light, and this is your office. This is where you get some deals done. This is where you get some reading done. You play a game of chess, and then of course you have yet another fireplace. Man, these fireplaces are stunning. There's so much cool factor. There's so much detail. And then right this way there's actually a walk-in closet that connects to the master bedroom. And real quick, so as I mentioned, this is one of the only houses that was actually the first house of record that was built using steel construction, and the reason for that was because they created a dome on the main level. So they had to create this area here that essentially lets in all this natural light. All right, why don't we head to the upper level? We're now on the top level of the home where we have the grand ballroom. When you're done entertaining your guests on the lower level, when you're done having dinner and listening to music, like this is where you go to keep the party going. Gosh, the size of this room is enormous. The ceiling height, the windows, the fireplace, and that little nook right there with the shelf, it was actually used to, you would put your drinks there to keep them warm. Really, really cool. How would you use this space? Would you entertain your guests? Would you make it a TV room? Would you have a pool table here? Or would you keep it exactly the way it is? Guys, thank you so much for touring this beautiful home with me. This property is not on the market, but the owner is a dear friend of mine, and he's actually a rock salesman. So in their book, everything is for sale. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and with that, I'll catch you on the next video.